Sometimes I grow so tired. But I know I've got one thing I got to do. Ramble on. And now's the time is now. Sing my song. I'm going around the world. I gotta find my...
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls all over the world, especially West Virginia and Maryland, welcome back to episode 2 of our season 2 of Ramble on the Mountain, the podcast. We are going to try again today. We're sticking with our shorter audio-only format. I hope you enjoyed the last episode. If you haven't seen it and somehow you got here, make sure you go back and listen to that one. And also, if you are just joining us and happen to be a new fan and ignorant to our existence completely, make sure you go back and watch all of Season 1 as well. We have the last recording of Season 1 coming up this weekend. Hopefully we're all going to get together and close off the season with a little bit of reflection and some intimate discussion.
Real deep.
And it'll be our, real nice and close and lovely.
Intimate with you guys.
Today, like last episode, we had a new segment. Today we're also going to have a new segment. It's not going to be the same one as the last one, but it comes from Reddit. And then we'll also have 2 more ad reads from our bestest sponsors. Today's new segment, we were talking about it before we started the recording and doing a little bit of planning. We were thinking, and all of us are in the 4 different stages of the, I guess, typical relationship of someone in our country. We have someone who is single, someone who is dating, someone who's engaged to be married, and someone who is actually married. So the full
Spectrum,
the full spectrum. Now we just need someone who's divorced. So hopefully we can pick up on that. Not it.
I'll say you're the closest one.
I know the audience can't see it, but Minnigh and Boog are dying right now. I'm not sure what's going on there.
Just put a hole in the couch.
Oh. Yeah, so you people can't see it, but Boog is currently with Minnigh at his house, and they're recording on the same mic. So they're a little closer than the rest of us.
Yes, please send a new couch because there's a hole in mine now.
Send Garrett a new head because there's a hole in his.
It's called my mouth, asshole.
All right. Anyways, any significant updates from you fellas? Anything changed really since our last recording?
Yes, actually, I did start a new job.
Woo!
I had a manager at my previous employer get up in my face and give me shit for being sick one day. So I rolled out, said, peace, see you later. And I'm currently employed at the same place that old Dill is, so...
We gonna be running that place.
For now.
9 episodes for you to finally say the employer.
Well, I no longer am employed there, so... I'm now Team Home Depot.
Oh, no. Anybody else? Minnigh? Well, congratulations, Boog. I know we've already told you offline, but congrats. Minnigh and Dill, you got anything?
I think since last episode, the only significant thing I've done was go on my class trip for sport management. We went to Charlotte, North Carolina, hung out there, I guess. We went to Newland, North Carolina. That's where our house was. We went to see East Tennessee State, and then went to Bristol Motor Speedway for some good old NASCAR racing.
NASCAR!
Yeehaw.
Let me tell you something, bud. NASCAR is fun live. I can understand why some people may not like it on TV. Live, completely different experience.
Cool. Want to elaborate? Like, why necessarily?
It sounds weird, but imagine you're listening to, this is how I know how to equate it. Imagine you're listening to a new CD on your headphones, and you're saying, wow, this sounds really good, this sounds great. But when you see it live and you actually see them perform it, and you hear it through all those speakers, and you're just there to experience it, it's so much better. Just the sound of the engines, the vibrations, they go so much faster than what you think.
I would imagine it's like a new appreciation for the whole experience. Kind of like the first time you go to a hockey game or a concert.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
I can understand that.
It's been about 20 years since I've been in a race, so I was about 6. 19, 20 years since I've been to a race. It was about 6 or 7 last time I went. It just, I didn't remember as much of it.
Yeah.
So to go at 25 is a lot different.
Cool. I'm glad you had fun, man. That's awesome.
Looked like a hell of a weekend.
Yeah.
It was great.
How about you, Dill? Any significant happenings?
Nothing's really changed. Bob Smiley is currently in the works of getting out there in the world a little bit more. Setting up shop at 2 of the bridal fairs that are coming up in June. So I got an Instagram and a Twitter for Bob Smiley. I haven't done anything with it yet, but we're going to start putting some more stuff online and trying to get the name out there a little bit more.
Nice. Well, congrats. Yeah, that's really cool, actually. Considering my business, I have yet to really sell anything. So far, I've just done free work, and even some of the free work I haven't gotten to finish yet because my life is a little bit of a, forgive my language, but shitstorm right now. There's a lot going on. Yeah, I guess, Minnigh, you talking about your trip reminded me. I did go to New Orleans last weekend. Got to visit the city. Beautiful city. I like it because you can tell it's a little rough around the edges, but when you think about, how much they've been through, it's really incredible to see where they are and like how well they've kept the city. It's a really beautiful place. The people are really nice. The food is just unreal. Like I've never had any kind of food even close to the level of how good it was. Even at like the less popular places there, it was just amazing. But it was a good trip. And for those of you listening, one of our friends, I was actually kind of hired to go. I did an engagement video whenever I proposed to my wife, and our friend Devin Burke, who was on the show last season, proposed to his girlfriend, and he wanted me there to video it and make a product for it. It turned out really well. It was a lot of fun to shoot. Fun trip overall. If you're interested in seeing the video, if you follow me on Facebook, you can find it there under my profile, or if you're friends with Devin or his fiance, all of their friends have shared it and whatnot, so you can find it somewhere.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
Video was lit.
Thank you, sir. All right, so moving on from there, I think that's good. Glad everybody's doing well. So we're gonna jump right into our next segment. We have a new segment, as I said, coming from the depths of Reddit. We are going to give some relationship advice, hearkening back to when I was talking about how we have the different spectrum of relationships. I think we'll be able to provide some interesting perspectives. All of us have been in a relationship at some point or another. I was just more talking about our current status. We have the spectrum. So, with that, I will read out our first prompt and how this is going to work. Last week, we had the Council of the Assholes making a decision and bringing justice to the internet, one post at a time. This time, it's not going to be necessarily like we'll probably come to a decision. It's just more if somehow the people posting these posts find us, maybe we can give them some help. Or if you're going through something similar that we read in the post and you're listening, hopefully we can help you as well. So are you boys ready?
Sure thing.
Yes, sir.
Lit. Okay. So the first one I found, and I'll be honest, when I thought of this segment, I didn't really think of a question like this, so it's a little interesting.
I'm still a little confused on how the setup is, but
I figure how this will go is I'll go around, I'll read the prompt like I did last time with our other segment, and you guys can take, either we can do initial thoughts, or if you just want to go right out and answer whatever you think, just go from there. So the first question, this one is coming from user My Doe Lays in Snow. That's pretty cool. It's a nice name. I like it. The question is, the headline is, the way I, 21 female, met my boyfriend, 20 male, is a bit cringy. How do I tell people when they ask? So that's the question, and her explanation to it goes as such. So I met my boyfriend a year ago. I posted on my city subreddit that I was lonely. I liked video games and wanted to meet somebody. I got about 50 messages altogether. One guy responded that he liked Fallout New Vegas. I love that game, so we exchanged messages about the game. I gave him my number and we texted all night. Our first phone call was over an hour. He told me he was also lonely. I mentioned how I wanted a cuddle badly. He offered to cuddle me. We decided to have a cuddle date. We met up the following week. He picked me up from my local cafe and took me to his. We got into bed and cuddled for 3 hours. That's how we met. I know it sounds a little cringy, but to me it wasn't. People have asked how we met, and I've told the truth, though an abbreviated version, and people tend to give me a weird look. I don't want to lie, but is there a way to say it without coming across as cringy? Okay. So, who would like to go first? Boog, go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to start off by saying that in today's society, I don't think there's really a bad way to meet somebody. We have resources that weren't available to our grandparents or even our parents, so the fact that you might be able to find somebody that you're compatible with, more so than somebody in like your close circle of people that you encounter every day, I think that it's really nice to be able to like find somebody that you have common ground with, regardless of how you come into contact with them. So no, I don't think that's bad. I mean, it's better than doing like what some of our grandparents did and like fall in fake love because they went to the same high school or they maybe got, you know, your grandmother pregnant. So like, I think that, you know, finding like a genuine quality that you like appreciate about somebody, again, regardless of how you meet them, I think that that's okay. So I think they should just kind of be honest about it. And, you know, if someone doesn't like that, that's on them.
Yeah. Okay, so your answer to how they should tell them is just be open and honest.
Just be open and honest about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I agree. So I think when we answer, I like how you did that, Boog. Give your explanation, and then at the end, just be like, so my answer is blank, you know, so we can end with the final statement. I like how you worded that, though, and I agree, but I'll explain later. Minnigh, do you want to go ahead and go? There, friendo?
Sure. So I'm similar to Boog in what he said. I think as we move into a technological age, we're looking at people that are meeting people online dating more and more. That's not personally how I like to do it, but a lot of people do. And I will never fault somebody for how they choose to do it and what makes them happy. Another thing that I found interesting in what you said is, did you say that she met him on their city's subreddit or posted on her city's subreddit?
Yeah, she said she posted there and got a bunch of messages, but he was one of the people that messaged her.
Right. So my thing with that is she's obviously close to some bigger city because Short Cap, West Virginia doesn't have a subreddit. So she's somewhere where she can post that in a large area that you may not see all these people. I think we may see it differently because we come from a very small town. And like Boog said, we are just exposed to these people throughout our lives because that's all we have.
Agreed.
So she lives in a city where she has a lot more people and a lot more resources. You can go out, but that's just not some people's thing. There's a lot of ways to meet people. And if that's how you met them and you're happy, just be happy. I don't think it matters how you met somebody as long as you're happy and you can fulfill it. So as far as telling people, I'm similar to Boog. If you're just open about it and you're honest about it, I don't think it matters. I think people have to kind of set their expectations differently in this day and age.
Agreed. Good answers, boys. Dill?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
We're not very good at this. We need somebody who just disagrees, just to disagree.
So I'm gonna shake it up. I'll let you know that.
But like online dating has been, I mean, even since we've been out of high school, it's just so much more and more. And like she said in the post, like she felt that she said he was kind of cringy, but I think they both kind of are in their own way, you know what I mean? And people like that tend tend to not go out and socialize and meet new people like that. So like online dating is perfect for people like that. Yeah. And telling people the same thing like Minnigh and Boog said, just be honest. From what I got from the post, they seem like quirky kind of people. So, I mean, they might think that people would judge them for it, but I mean, anymore nowadays, you can't really. You don't judge people on stuff like that. So
we have a website in this world called farmersonly.com. So I think if you met on Reddit in your city subreddit, it's a little bit more acceptable.
Not to diss the farmers out there, but
that's how you choose to meet. Like I said, everyone has their own way of doing it. Just be happy with each other. But consider the fact that we have one specifically for people who are farmers.
Yeah.
And it's not cringy that you met somebody in your city subreddit because you may have run into them anyway.
Yeah. So my take, I think the question is a little like open-ended. The question doesn't really specify what part of it is cringy. There's a couple things that caught my attention. Some people would be afraid to say like, oh, I posted it somewhere and said I was lonely and I liked video games. Like some people would say, oh, that's kind of cringy. Other people, the part that got me was the fact that their first date started with, do you want to cuddle? And then they had a 3-hour cuddle date. I think that's more what she's asking. Like, how do you explain that to somebody? Because it sounds kind of cringy. And I won't lie, off first reading it, it kind of is. It's a little different. It's out there. But I kind of hate the word cringy anymore. I think that's something that, like, when we're, like, 13 to 15 years old and you're socially awkward and you don't really know how to do things, that word reminds me of, like, that time frame personified. But now, like, everyone uses it. So, like, people that are like our age, 25, 23, like, oh, that's cringy. Like, can we move on past that? Like, that's like middle school, underage, just stupid shit that, like, no one should care about. It's like all of you have said. Be honest, You were lonely, you wanted to find a friend, and it happened that you started off by cuddling, which is an intimate, normal thing that everyone does. Like, right. Yeah, you went about it pretty straightforward, but who cares? Like, but so that aside, I think that's more what I was thinking. I was like, what exactly are you thinking is cringy? But I think that's more of what she was trying to ask. And in order to, if she's worried about feeling, looked upon and people thinking she's weird or they're weird, you don't have to be honest with people either. It's not really their business. Like, if people ask, you can just say, I met them on Reddit. Or you don't even have to say Reddit. You could say, I met them online.
Say online, yeah.
Like that, and like you said, Minnigh, a lot of people do that nowadays. It's becoming more popular. Like, all you have to say is that. And if it's it's one of your close friends, yeah, sure. If you want to be open and honest with them, they're your friend. You should be able to. But if you're worried about other people judging you, like, don't feel like you owe them an explanation. No
reason to explain that to your acquaintances. They don't need to know that. Because, like I said, I mean, exactly what you said. It's just, we have more access to that now. Mm-hmm. We don't need to explain it to people because it's just become a more normal thing. We met online. Big deal. So do a lot of other people.
Yeah. So go ahead, Boog.
Something else that I wanted to touch on, kind of, how you said that, like, people might have taken their first date as cringy. What I kind of picture, though, is not, like, full-on, like, spooning in a bed. I just kind of imagine, like, two people kind of, like, chilling out on a couch watching Netflix, like, maybe arm around each other. Like, that, to me, that could be a cuddle date. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be, like, this, like...
laying in bed like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just being close and intimate with somebody else. That's what relationships are.
So, I don't know why anyone would take that as cringy either.
Yeah.
I guess just depending on how you perceive it.
Yeah, I know some people, like, are juvenile enough to be like, oh, cuddling, like, or PDA.
I feel like if
that's
you
so
see
taboo.
it on Twitter, that's what people would be, oh, this is so cringy.
those are people that shouldn't be giving relationship advice in the first place.
Exactly.
Not to be like strong and kind of vulgar about it, but there are people that are like, oh, you have to have sex on the first date. If you don't know, then you don't. Can we just all approach things a little bit differently?
Yeah, let's say it's your life.
I mean, like I said, I'm not somebody that wants to online date. I would rather meet someone in person, but I'm also open to like, go out occasionally and potentially that may happen somewhere. Mm-hmm. Everyone's different. If you met online, that's fine. But we all don't have to approach things the same way. Because I think the movie and dinner date, first date idea, it's kind of a thing of the past in some senses.
Yeah. Honestly. That's something that like you see more down the line, to be honest. Like it's because it's expensive.
If you go to a movie on your first date, bad. That is a terrible place.
You're not talking at all.
That is a terrible place to get to know somebody. To sit here and watch this film with you. What? Yeah,
you don't know if they're one of those people that's like, don't talk to me while the movie's on. Or if you're like that and the other person's just, it's not a good...
That'd be me. They'd be looking at me going, what's happening? Oh.
So, I mean, I can add, like, personal, like a personal touch on that. Like, I have had a first date where you end up, where I ended up going to a movie, but it was preceded by dinner at, like, a restaurant/bar where we sat and talked for, like... 2-3 hours. So like it was just kind of like, well, what do you want to do? Well, let's go see a movie.
Yeah, that's I think what Minnigh was trying to touch at is more of like, don't start with the movie.
No, there's nothing wrong with going to see a movie as a date, but I think to what Ben said, I think that's something you do a little bit later on, just in the full like planning process of it all.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good answers, friends. Maybe not this time. We'll do our ads now and do another question. But I think later on, if we wanted to continue this, because Reddit has comments, I think it'd be interesting to go through like the top level comments and be like, oh, do we agree? Do we not? And like stuff like that. Just thinking ahead, So with that, I think that was a pretty good first question. So why don't we go ahead and have our 2 ads for the day? I think today we are going to be sponsored by, once again, our favorite new skin distributor, Shelly Minnigh, and old Bob Smiley is making a return in the ad read game because, as he said, his business is flourishing a little bit. He's getting out there trying to continue that advertisement.
Yeah.
So you two, whenever you're ready, go right on ahead. Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go, Minnigh. Okay, so Bob Smiley's Woodworking offers personalized, handmade woodworking products of any type, ranging from small country decor to custom wooden flags and even rustic furniture, and now including wedding signs, just about anything you can think of for weddings as well. You find something you like on Pinterest that you'd like to have in your humble abode, screenshot it. Something you see out in public, snap a quick pic, and send any ideas to Bob to get exactly what you're looking for. And don't forget about the Bob Smiley lifetime guarantee that comes with all products purchased. Hands down, the greatest guarantee offered on any product in the history of woodworking, and at a great price of $3.99. Fair prices, wicked fast response time, and great customer service. To place an order or see previous projects, just go to facebook.com/BobSmileys, and I don't remember the Instagram or Twitter handles that I just made, but we'll put those out later.
I own these accounts, but I have no idea what they're called. Just search me, you'll find me.
Just search Bob Smiley's on Instagram or Twitter, and it'll come up.
All right. Thank you, Bob. Minnigh, you want to go ahead and introduce your mom?
Shelly Minnigh, our favorite new skin products distributor, graciously sponsoring us again, is offering a Mother's Day special that is a fantastic and guaranteed for your mom or just another special lady in your life will love. So we've talked a lot about the AP toothpaste in the past. We have some other ones that I want to talk about too. So we have the Soul Solution for soft, healthy feet, the Signature Whitening Toothpaste, as I mentioned, and the Self-Tanning Gel is a safe way to instantly get a bronze glow. If you check out her Facebook posts, sometimes she posts those pictures of the before and after. And let me tell you something. It is a noticeable difference. I wouldn't just say that to get people to buy it. It is a noticeable difference, and I think you would love it. So now through May 5th, you can get these 3 products, the Soul Solution, the toothpaste, and the tanning gel, for $60. That's a $22 savings if you bought them all at normal price. So take a look at those pictures. Like I said, check her out on Facebook. You'll see those. Bonus sale, we have another one going on here with Miss Shelly, is also offering the Epoch Boa Body Butter. I think that's what it's called. Again, she's probably going to hate me.
Ba 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 ba.
Ba 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 body butter.
Baba booey, baba booey.
Baba booey!
Bottle
Okay,
blast.
these always go off the rails for some reason. That's okay. So this substance reduces the appearance of scars and stretch marks. Works as a mosquito repellent too. So kind of interesting, but that's something that you have to worry about in the summer. Summer's coming up here soon. So the regular price is $35, and now through May 5th as well, you can get it for $27. So a little bit of savings there on that too. So check her out on Facebook, send her a message, comment on one of her posts, let her know that you're interested. Guarantee that you're going to love these things. Toothpaste, body butter, Soul Solution, whatever it is, hit her up, Shelly Minnigh.
Yeah, Shelly. That's our second mom and Minnick's first mom. All right.
My first mom.
So thank you to our advertisers and sponsors. Once again, we appreciate your support. And Bob and Shelly both, we wish you the best in your future business endeavors as you continue to grow. So with our next advice question, if we get through it quick, we can do a third one. Girlfriend 27 slept with my 36-year-old friend while we had a break. Now regrets it and wants to work it out. So we were together for over 2 years, lived together for a year and a half. In the last couple of months, we used to fight more often than normal because I wanted to eventually move to a different city to improve my job situation, and she always was unsure about coming with me. About 2 months ago, she decided to move out, but we never officially broke up. A week later, we've met to talk things out, and she told me she's still in love with me. I tell her the same. We kinda reconcile, then spend the night at my/our old place, and we had sex. Yet another week later, she's unsure again, doesn't want to meet. It sucks, I still love her, but decided to leave her alone. Still thinking about her all the time, though. Eventually, last Sunday, I make a last move and text her. We meet for a walk, I tell her about my feelings. She has a breakdown and admits that she slept with a mutual friend of ours in the meantime. She says that she regrets it and that it was just sex, but that she also knows that she's, quote, ruined it all. I'm devastated and leave her standing on the pavement, go home, cry, delete her number, and try to move on as hard as it is. So this happened on Sunday, and today my doorbell rings. It's her, messed up, apologizing, saying she made the mistake of her life. We talk. I must admit, I still love her very much. I believe her when she says she was drunk, that it was a one-time stupid mistake, and that she deeply regrets it. However, I'm not sure if I can get over this. It's really effing with my head. I'm constantly picturing her with this other guy. So basically, my heart says to give her one more chance, but according to my brain and the many posts I've read here, I should probably just end it. I told her that when we really both want to save our relationship, we'd have to not only work on the fact that she slept with a friend of mine, but also on the problems that led to the breakup in the first place. She agrees, but I don't know if that's something she tells me because I want to hear it. I told her I need to think about it, and now here I am. So this is deep.
Yeah.
Just like his friend was.
Oh.
Got him.
Singer.
All right.
No, but seriously.
Anybody want to volunteer to go first?
Yeah, I will. Before I forget everything that's been running through my head. I was kind of back and forth with, like, it seemed like he would say something and I would lean this way, he'd say another thing, and then I would fall back. But the fact that they never really said they were taking a break, I mean, yeah, she moved out, but like they never really discussed anything after that. So the fact that she did it without them ever really breaking it off is pretty shitty, and that made me lean towards, break it off with her, especially since it was a mutual friend. But then again, like, how long were they together? 2 years?
It said together for 2 years, lived together for a year and a half.
Yeah. So
They lived together during that time, during that 2 years, or are we just going to pretend like they lived together during that year and a half in the 2 years, or is this like in addition?
yeah, I think they were dating for 6 months and then moved in together.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
2 years total dating. So that kind of made me go back a little bit. But, like, I don't know. Because he said they never really talked about any of the problems that they had before, like the last couple months before she moved out. Like, they never really discussed their problems. So obviously there was problems leading up to it, not just the fact that she went and slept with somebody else. It seems like there's still underlying problems, even though she said she wants to come back. Yes, she can come back and it'll be fine for 3 months, maybe 6 months, but if they don't fix what was broken before, it's just going to end up in the same position. So
Agreed. So what's your answer?
I don't know. I would say no. Stay
As in,
away.
like, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and change up the order here. I'm gonna take my turn. All the details aside, and still bearing the details, there are a couple crucial things that give me my answer almost right away. So, as you said, the whole moving out, not having the real breakup thing, that's one thing. And she says she was drunk and she regrets it. But also, this isn't just another person, it's a friend they have together. So right there, that's two people I would immediately just cut out of my life. So I'm going to put this into context. Let's go back to the days of Morgantown, when my current wife and I were still dating. Let's imagine that we have some issues. We sort of, we're kind of apart, whatnot. And I'm going to, still just because you're by yourself right now, I'm going to use you as an example. You guys go ahead and hit it off while this is happening. I can tell you right now, in this position or there, I would have cut both of you out of my life instantly. Because there's so much trust there. Now, I don't know how close of a friend this person is. It's just said it's a mutual friend. Like, obviously, we're best friends. So, like, that'd be a lot of trust. So I don't know how much trust he has with this person. Well, okay. Well, either of you. So I don't know how close he is with this person, but close enough to call them a friend. There's trust there, and if that guy was drunk or not, either way, there was a decision made that just instantly violates that trust.
And on both parties.
On both parties. So my advice is to leave both of them in the dust. I know it's hard, especially because it seems like he really cares about her to the point that you're willing to believe the, not excuses, because who knows if they're true or not, but to look past, that broken trust and that just literal backstabbing from both people and say that you still love this person so much. That's a strong feeling. That's a strong love. And that is hard. But believe me, I think I would rather end things now than get, 10 years down the road, you're married, something else happens like this, especially if there's other problems that you've said that, you're working up to at this time. It seems like you have different career goals. There's just a whole lot of stuff going there that's not mixing. And then you throw this on there. I say walk away, and there's plenty of fish out in the sea, as cliche and, douchey as that is. You can find something better. Yeah, you can find a better girlfriend and a better friend. I can promise you that. I have 6 of the best friends and 1 amazing wife. So it can't happen. So that's my answer.
I want to counter 2 things you said. And this is just from an objective point of view. So actually, one is something that Dill said. So one thing that I find interesting, personally, I'm not somebody that believes in moving in with somebody if you're not engaged or like very, very far along in a point where you think. And I also don't believe in love at first sight. I don't think that that's something that exists. Everybody has their own opinion. That's just personal. So I think that's something that happened there. Like love at first sight, they go in, they're like, okay, like this is going to work. It's going to be good. I feel like moving out is a sign of I don't want to be with you anymore.
Especially after a year and a half.
Exactly. And that's why I think, and I understand that they didn't discuss it, but I feel like if you move out of my house, like if we're living together and you move out, and we're not engaged or married or anything of that sort, I feel like that's a pretty strong signal that you don't want to be together anymore.
Yeah, it's not like just leaving for the night or a couple of days or something.
Exactly. You take all of your stuff and move out. You've sent me a message to say, I don't want to be with you anymore.
Agreed.
Now, something that you said, Ben, that is also a very objective point that a lot of people fundamentally disagree on is everybody values sex different. And
True.
that's part of, I think that's the biggest part of the issue here. Is that...
Yeah, because she says it's just sex.
Right, so she says that, so she sees it as, oh, it's not that big of a deal, but he sees it as more of what you're saying is it's a very intimate experience, it's something that you should share with those people that are, or that person, whatever, however you want to, lay that down. So, I think he has to look at himself, the guy, because it's a guy, right, that's writing this. So I think he has to look at himself and say, look, similar to what you said, is this something that's going to continue to come up in the future? Because if this is something that's going to come up in the future, then I don't want to be a part of this. But at the same time, it depends how he values these things, because if he says to himself, this is truly the person that I want to be with, then I think you have to pursue it. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, because I think in that situation, I'm exactly like you. If that happens, I'm cutting you both out. I mean, but everybody values it differently. So I think he personally has to look at himself and say, how do I value these things? Because if I want to be with this lady for the rest of my life, then I'm going to do it. So it's kind of a gray area. But I just, it's all dependent on how you choose to value those couple points.
Very good job remaining objective. That's a challenge when it comes to stuff like this. Because it's so relatable. Like
yeah, well, and that's what I don't want to share, and I know I have, but I don't want to get completely into my reasoning behind why I value certain things. But
yeah,
you learn that through time, and this is weird as the single guy. You learn through time that just everybody has different values on how they see things, and you compromise in relationships, but that doesn't mean you compromise the biggest parts of what makes you you.
Yeah, and some people can be like. He could be a really forgiving person too. Like some people can't forgive anything. Some people can forgive just about anything.
Yeah, true. All right, Boog, what do you think?
So I mean, obviously, a serious breakup is never easy. So if he's writing this, relatively soon after that breakup, he's not really sure where he's even at. So, for him to try to, pinpoint his feelings, obviously, he's going to still say that he loves her and stuff. But I think, even a week or so down the road, once he starts to see it in a little more black and white, I think he would have a much easier time coming to, the realization of what actually happened. He seems like a really trusting guy. He seems like you just said, a very forgiving person. And I think she knows that, and I think she's very manipulative. I think she uses the tactic of minimizing the damage that she actually did by saying, "Oh, it's just sex," and knowing how forgiving he is, he might be like, "Oh, well, she just slipped up." Whereas, no, she cheated on you. I don't care if you're on a break or if she's coming back to you saying she still loves you. she's saying that she loved you when that happened, and that's not okay.
Yeah.
So I think she's just manipulating him because she knows
That's
that
fair.
he's a good guy. So the fact that she can say, oh, it was just sex, it didn't mean anything, he's hearing that and like he's eating that up because that's what he wants to hear deep down inside, that it didn't mean anything, it was a mistake, and he's willing to accept that as a mistake. So I mean, I don't have much more to say than that, but I think that he just needs to move on.
Good answer.
I think you nailed it with the time. That's definitely something to consider. Like trying to, because this was posted 4 days ago, and the update was on the top page today. So it's only been a maximum of 4 or 5 days.
Can we post a link to this video whenever in the answer?
Might be something to do in the future,
And to Boog's point, I think that kind of, not to support my own thing again, but I think that plays into what I was saying about, like, you have to figure out what you value. And if you are a nice guy, but you can't accept that, you do have to move on. That's totally up to what, I think you have to get a backbone at some point and be like, okay, like if this is not what I want, then I have to move on. And it's not easy for some people. I think that's just the way it is. Everyone's different. They have that different kind of radar, or I don't know what you would call it, but like a different sense of how it all works.
Yeah.
It's difficult probably for this nice guy to be like, oh, well, it's fine, but is it really fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, so to kind of touch on what Minnigh said real quick about the whole moving out thing and that being like a dead giveaway that she's over it. I feel like a normal, rational person that still cares but just needs a break, they're going to go get lunch with their girlfriends, or they're going to go spend the night with their mom, and maybe, spend a night at their parents' house, get themselves, recuperated. They're not going to just, cut ties and move out. I think that she was genuinely done. I think that she went and tried to move on real quick, found out that's not what she wanted, and she's using this guy as a backup plan, and I don't think that's okay. Again, very manipulative, and I think that it just sounds like a toxic environment that he should probably just remove himself from.
Very, very well said. I agree. So to wrap it all up with some key points, Dill, I'm struggling to remember what exactly that you said, because you were first.
Must not have been that important.
Because you were first, I'm struggling to remember what you said.
No, I know.
Get out.
Okay, so you said get out. Mine was more of a looking at the people involved and seeing how that impacts you. Minnigh touching on like what you value, what are your values, how do you look at this situation and compare those things. And Garrett kind of wrapping that up too, as well as taking time to really reflect and look at yourself in the situation, see it for what it is, not for how your emotions are presenting it to you. No matter what, it sounds really tough. And I'm sure it's even tougher for the person that is asking this question. And I hope you do work it out. And no matter what you do, whether you stay or you leave, remember, you matter. Take care of yourself. And if this person or whoever the person is in the future, if you decide to leave, they should see that, and they will. So I hope it gets worked out.
And we got your back.
Yeah. Subscribe to our podcast.
We got you, man. Here's our podcast.
Yeah. All right. So we're about 50 minutes, so this is a little bit longer, but that's okay. With that, I think that's plenty. Well, I think we'll definitely come back to this one again. I think we're all very thoughtful and pretty emotional people. So, but also capable, as Minnigh displayed, of being objective. So I think it led to some good discussion, and I think we'll definitely bring it back in the future. So with that, boys, you got any last words before we close it out?
Alpaca.
I
Nice.
hardly know her.
I didn't say. Never mind. I didn't
I've been waiting the whole damn show.
say alpaca.
That's amazing. All right. I think we're all good. So those of you listening, we love you. Thank you for supporting us. If you're watching on YouTube, leave a like and a comment. Tell us if you think we were right or if we were wrong or if we missed anything. If you want to go find this post, like I spelled out the username, or you can just go to the subreddit, give your own opinions. If you're listening through the podcast app, that's cool. Keep it up. I hope it's working for everybody who's trying to use that, and hopefully we can keep that going for you. We will see you. Probably next episode will be the last episode of season 1, and then after that we'll continue with this audio format. So once again, we love you. You're amazing. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time on the Ramble on the Mountain podcast.
Horns down.
Forever.
Peace.
Bye.
Guess I'll keep on rambling.